All right, now we go to the Toronto Maple Leafs, and they were the authors of one of the most surprising picks of the first round, and Matt asks me just that. Matt asks, were you surprised by Toronto's first-round pick? What are your initial thoughts about the reasoning behind it? Well, all right, so I had Easton Cowan, 70th on my list. He goes to the Toronto Maple Leafs in a very shallow draft for Toronto. They only had 3 picks. They had 28, 153, 185 when it was all said and done. Easton Cowan goes, and the reason that I was surprised by this pick, I wasn't surprised that there were teams that really liked Easton Cowan because Toronto was not alone in that. Easton Cowan had a great playoffs with London. He had a really good second half of the season. He's tenacious. He works hard. The question is at 5'10", with, skates fine, competes well, is that enough? Does his skill carry him through? Does his skill make him, a first-round caliber talent? The thing about Toronto is they weren't going to pick again until way later in the draft. They ended up, their next pick was Hudson Malinowski out of the AJHL at 153. Easton Cowan there at 28. What struck me about the pick was that it felt like it was against type, because we know that Kyle Dubas is gone. He's not with the team anymore. And we know that a lot of the people that he worked with still are with the team. So you wonder how much the drafting philosophy would change. Brad Treliving did get an opportunity to go to the draft board, and so that helped him as well, to be part of this process. And I don't know how much that threw loop. But I think ultimately Toronto picked the player that they most coveted at that range. I have a hard time seeing that would have been the guy all the way if Kyle Dubas was still there. I just felt like it wasn't much of a pick. It wasn't, much of a swing. And to me, I was a little surprised. And I think that it was off the board for a lot of people, not just the public scouting community. There were a lot of people that liked Easton Cowan, but it was off the board. There most people that you talk to, what were some of the most surprising picks? Easton Cowan is a pretty frequent one. And I don't want this to come off as a slight to Easton Cowan, who I think, he didn't choose where he got to be picked. Now he's got to do all the work to live up to the pressure of that pick. But at the same time, he's in a position now that he put himself in that position by his strong second half in his playoffs. So let's see where he takes it. But to me, I was very surprised. I thought the Penguins the Maple Leafs have their process. They stick to it. And I guess we'll have to wait and see if it all pans out.